Hey, Kyle here with Seagraves.com. How can you get the seller to pay your closing costs, or at least some of them, if not all? I think a lot of times people don't realize when they're looking at buying a home and getting a loan that they can have the seller actually pay some of those closing costs. So something to consider when we do this is, what does that do to your negotiation? What does that do to your loan? And ultimately, what's the best way to set it up so that you get the house that you want, but then you also get the loan setup that you want as well? We're going to cover that here in just a second. All right, so the main reason why we would have the seller pay some of our closing costs is because sometimes closing costs can be a little higher than we want them to. All right, in our closing costs, we have things like the appraisal, title fees, we have taxes, insurance, fees charged by the county. So there's a lot of different parties kind of coming in and working together to close on your loan. So sometimes those closing costs begin to add up. They normally run somewhere between 2 to 3% of the purchase price. So when you're putting money down, you're also paying some closing costs on top of that. So one way that you can bring down your total cash out of pocket is to have the seller pay some closing costs. So this is how it works. When you write an offer with your realtor, you want to have that conversation with whoever you're working with and let them know that you want to get some seller concessions. Okay? So the way seller concessions work is it's a percentage of the purchase price that goes towards your closing costs. So let's run an example really quickly. Let's say for easy math, you're looking at a $100,000 house. Okay, so the house is listed at $100,000 and you want some seller concessions. So you could ask for about 3% in seller concessions. So we take 100,000 times 3% and that gives you $3,000. So what you did is you wrote a contract saying we're going to offer $100,000. The seller is going to give us $3,000 towards our closing costs. And in most areas, that should just about cover the majority of your closing costs. Okay, it will not cover your down payment, but it will cover the majority of your closing costs. Okay, now here's the issue that we run into. When you ask for seller concessions, that's a less attractive offer to the seller of the house that you're buying from, right? Because if we look from their view, you offered them $100,000, but then you immediately asked them to give you $3,000. So they're getting $97,000, right? So your offer is a little bit less attractive if you ask for seller concessions. So this is often how we build seller concessions into the mortgage, or how we build in closing costs into the mortgage. So let's go back. Let's say there was a house listed for $100,000. Okay, so it's listed for $100,000. Now you need $3,000 in closing costs paid for, but the seller doesn't want to give up $3,000. So what we do is we put it into the purchase price, so it gets wrapped into the loan. So it's listed at $100,000, but you offer $103,000. Okay, so you're giving the seller $103,000 through the loan, and then they're going to take that $3,000 and give it right back to you at closing. So the seller gets the money that they want, you get the money that you want. You basically took those closing costs and financed them into the loan. So this is a very common way that realtors can help you get the seller concessions that you want without destroying your negotiation power. Okay? So all in all, how do you know if you even need this as a strategy? Okay, number one, you first need to have a conversation with your mortgage advisor. They should be giving you very accurate numbers, telling you what your payments are, your rate is, and your total cash out of pocket, so you can make the decision on if you need to ask for seller concessions or not, right? So what I do is I do a total cost analysis for all my clients so they can see all of those numbers up front, and then we can make the decision, do we need to ask for any credit at closing for those seller concessions? If so, then what I do is I talk with your realtor and let them know how we want to set up the deal on the closing cost side so that everything is comfortable for you. Now, the downside to seller concessions is that you're paying a little bit of interest on that money. Even though you're getting it from the seller and it can feel like it's cash up front, that money is being put into the loan amount, because instead of asking for $3,000 to pay your closing costs, you could have asked for $3,000 less in purchase price. So that's where you have to make the decision on what are your goals now and in the future. Are you comfortable with paying a little bit more upfront so that you can save more in the future? Or are you going to be in this house a little bit more short term to where you want the upfront costs lowered and you're willing to have it built into the loan? If you have more questions about some of these different strategies or scenarios and what they look like over a long period of time, let me know. If you have questions, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Also, any new ideas or questions that you have, I'd love to address those. All right. Well, thanks for watching this video. Be well.